Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel.
2 € seulement. Qui veut des briquets? C'est une marque du futur. Même en Chine, ils ont pas sorti ça. Ah ouais? Briquet.
Mas a galera tá morta, eu tô pobre.
Ai, pequeno, tá fudido.
So the clips you just saw were from two of my favorite movies, and both of them are foreign films, and there's a reason for that, because today I am not going to be talking about spirituality. This is a language tag video, and I thought it would be fun to do because speaking other languages is one of my favorite things to do. So I went online, I tried to find some other YouTubers who did language tags, and I also looked up some questions that I could answer. It seemed fun to answer. It seemed like these might inspire someone else to want to learn another language. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first question is, what do you consider your native language? I think it's pretty obvious if you've heard me talk in any of my other videos, or if you hear me talking now, I have a Midwest Anglo-Saxon type accent, so English is my native language. The second question is, what languages have you learned and why? Spanish would be the first language outside of English that I've learned and that I know. Other languages that I'm learning right now are Louisiana Creole, French, and Portuguese. And the reason that I chose those three languages is for a couple of different reasons. One of them being I was living in New Orleans, Louisiana for 3 years, and two of the main languages I always heard spoken there outside of English were French and Creole. And those languages are very closely affiliated with Spanish. You know, these are languages of the African diaspora, Portuguese included. And I wanted a language that I felt that I could easily learn and ones that I could also connect with. So because I could, they became easy for me. And also, you know, the cultures in general all are so much alike. So that's what drew me into it even more. How has your personality affected how you learn languages? I don't know that my personality has affected it. If you ask any of my friends, apparently I've always dated foreigners. It's such a guy thing apparently, but I've dated a few different guys from different countries, continents, whatever it is. And I think my attraction just comes from wanting to learn more about someplace outside of my own little bubble. You know, I grew up in the United States, so I've never gotten really experience other people, but I've gotten experience the countries that I'm interested in through these people. You know, getting to learn about their ways of life, getting to learn their language, getting to learn, you know, about the foods they eat, the things they like, you know, their families. You know, that has, I guess, created part of my personality, you know, why I'm interested in so many things. So it's all been helpful in learning other languages too. Music. I should have said that first. Music is the #1 way you can learn another language. It is a common denominator. It is something that unites us all. If you're trying to learn another language, listen to rap, listen to jazz, listen to R&B in another language. I recommend you watch the Colors channel. It's a channel with artists from all over the world, and you can always find someone who either raps or sings in another language, and it's absolutely amazing, and it'll help you learn the language quicker. Do you prefer to learn in a class or individually? I don't learn well in classrooms. I'm a very hands-on person, and one of the best ways that I think that I've learned other languages is through speaking to other people, whether I'm great at it or whether I'm terrible at it. You know, people that I've met are always willing to help. So individually, I would definitely have to say, because sitting in a classroom only does so much for me. I mean, when it comes to grammar learning, of course, you know, I'm gonna have to sit and write and conjugate and all of that, but I learn best individually. Favorite language learning materials. I've learned language in a couple of different ways. Now, if you want to talk standard, books have always helped me. You know, Idiot's Guide to whatever. I have a book called Language Hacking. I'm actually looking at it right now by Benny Lewis. Apparently he learned like a foreign language in 3 months and became fluent. Books have always helped. Apps are the newest thing, I guess. And I do have a couple too. The one I'm learning French and Louisiana Creole on are Memrise. And I found it through someone on Instagram, and those are actually helpful. They're basic lessons, and it goes pretty slow. Also, if you know you're on the go and you don't feel like sitting in a classroom, or you don't have the money to go sit in a classroom, those are very helpful as well. Another way, or one of my favorite learning tools, are TV shows, movies. I love foreign films. I love them, and people are like, well, they're all the same. I mean, yeah, generally speaking, they're the same as any other movie, but you know, you get to see other cultures and you get to become immersed. Like, I've gotten some of my friends on telenovelas, like, one of my friends, actually, I recently got her on Celia, which is, you know, a telenovela about Celia Cruz, and she was one of the most famous Latin American performers. She's from Cuba, and she's just a legend, and I actually got my friend into it who does not speak any Spanish at all, but it all translates at the end of the day. So, you know, if you're learning another language, TV shows or movies are definitely helpful too. How much time do you spend actively practicing? Well, Spanish I don't have to practice, but when it comes to French and Creole, now on my apps, I do practice daily. As far as speaking, not so much, like maybe once a week. Now, I do know there's like an app called italki, and I think you can talk to people and you can find language partners on there, people who are trying to learn English or, you know, whatever language it is you speak, and, you know, they can help you back and forth. Having a partner, I think, is very important, and it's not a great way to learn. The fact that I've had romantic partners who speak other languages has definitely worked out for me. But, you know, having friends who speak other languages too also helps a lot. So, you know, speaking Spanish, I do that every single day. Speaking French, Creole, and Portuguese, I practice weekly, but with other people, it comes and goes. Favorite language? My favorite language, I'm biased to Spanish, but French would probably be my second favorite just because it's another romance language. You know, I'm a Cancer. I am someone who romanticizes pretty much everything in their life. Like, my life in my head is a telenovela.
Disculpa, no. Solo quería agradecerte de alguna manera tu ayuda.
So it's between Spanish and French, really, if I had to pick a favorite. Short and long-term language goals. Let's see, short-term, I would love to be fluent in Portuguese and French and Louisiana Creole within the next 6 months. That would be a short-term goal for me. Long-term, I want to be fluent enough to teach. I want to be fluent enough to be able to, you know, adopt from kids from different countries who speak other languages. I want whoever my future partner, boyfriend, whoever it is, like, that's a requirement for me. He has to speak another language, or at least be willing to learn another language. That's very, very important for me, just because, you know, the global connection is real out here. You know, there's so many opportunities to be had and so many people to meet and so much to digest in the world that you can simply start by learning another language. The next language you want to learn, I'm kind of just focused on doing, you know, the romance languages right now, Portuguese, French, and Spanish. I've never really wanted to learn like Chinese or Russian or anything. Those languages are hard to me. You know, I know that there are huge job markets and the big bucks are up there, you know, with Asian languages and all that, but personally, I'm no good at it. I love the languages that sound pretty, at least pretty to me. So, sorry. Advice to new language learners. My best advice is to dive in. Isn't it obvious that I'm a global person? I got this from Michaels and I love it. But the best advice that I can give on learning another language, dive right in. Don't be scared to speak another language. It's actually quite fun when you meet other people. You know the best part about knowing another language? When you can shit talk. I love that. And I also love when people think I can't speak a language and I hear exactly what they're saying and then I turn around and respond. It's the funniest thing ever. But outside of, you know, the mean girl thing or whatever, you know, just being able to connect, that's very important, I think, especially, you know, if you're trying to get out there in the world and you want to visit other places. I think it's great when you don't have to look like an American tourist. I think it's great when you can, you know, really put yourself into another culture or another place. Also, advice I have, Netflix is your best friend. Netflix, or I don't know if Hulu has any, but, you know, if you watch telenovelas or, you know, movies, definitely watch that because it will help you so much. Like just watch them all day. You're gonna pick some stuff up eventually. Also, you know, follow some Instagram pages, people who speak other languages. Turn subtitles on and just watch things and try to translate the best you can. I think those are all helpful tools also. I know that when I was in college and I wanted to pick up Portuguese, I watched this movie called City of Gods, and it is like a combination of Scarface meets Shadas meets Godfather, and you know, it's just this amazing movie, but they were speaking Portuguese in it, and I'm like, okay, I like that. It sounds like French, it sounds like Spanish, you know, so I wanted to learn it. So, you know, find movies with the same genre but in another language and you'll pick it up easily, or you know, even if not easily, you'll pick it up eventually. So I hope you guys start to learn another language and get into it really soon.